I'm trying to overcome this fear. So every time I feel confident and I feel like I have something to say, then I'll do it right away. Because if I
That's
don't,
smart.
yeah, then fear takes over and then I don't do it no more.
Oh, that's smart. No, that's smart. I definitely get that. So
Yeah.
I want to interview you today and ask you some questions.
Okay.
So, and I know that normally you build businesses and you sell them, right? That's
I
what you
have,
do.
I started two and I sold them both.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I want you to think about before you started building businesses, maybe when you work for somebody.
Oh
Okay. So
yeah,
that's where
yeah.
I want you to think about these questions.
I had
Tell
plenty of
me,
jobs.
oh yeah, playing jobs. Okay, good. So tell me your worst job that you've ever had and why it was your worst job.
To be honest, I don't think I ever thought of a job to be the worst job. I mean, there were some that, I really didn't like, but I never went into any type of job with that mentality. Um, so I don't think, to be honest, I really don't think, that I had the worst job. Now, I want to say right now, um, probably about in August, let's see, June, July, I had to work because my business was closed due to COVID and I
Right.
had no other type of income. So I still had to pay the rent where my boutique was, and my funds were like really low because everybody had canceled, right? So I had to go back and work. And I went into, I'm not going to name the place, but I went into this retail store, um, a big retail store, and I was working there as an assistant manager because I have a manager background.
Okay.
And it was, I'm not going to say that the job itself was bad. It was the management
Mm-hmm.
that was bad. And it was more, to me, it was more like me and my manager had a little discussion because he wanted me to be mean to the workers.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and he says that he told me that I had to be like tough and and talk to them in a certain type of way. And I
Mm-hmm.
told him, I said, no. I said, to be a good manager, you don't have to be mean to anyone. You don't have to put them down. You don't have to tell them, look, you're not doing the job right. You can teach them how to do it. And, like not everybody learns at the same level.
Right.
So I think that's probably the worst job for me,
The
but it
worst.
wasn't the job itself. It was just the management. To me, it wasn't what a manager should be.
Okay.
Hmm.
So what was your best job?
Ooh, I've had a lot of them. um, I worked for the health department
Okay.
for a long time, and I loved the fact that I could help people. I used to translate. I used to make appointments. I used to just listen to people. Sometimes people would just come and make an appointment, and they would just sit there and vent and tell me about their lives, and it was kind of fulfilling because I was able to do my job, get paid, and then at the
Mm-hmm.
same time, I was able to listen to someone that maybe they didn't have nobody else. So I think for me that was
That was your best.
that was it. Yeah.
So you said your background is in management. Did you ever do any hiring? Did you ever have
Yes.
to interview? Okay. So when you what type of employee would you be looking for? What would be a good employee for you? If you're hiring, what did you look for in an employee? A good
Um,
employee.
for me, it's someone that can. I'm not going to say that they can be a fast learner, but someone that's willing to learn.
Okay.
Someone that's willing to learn. So I really don't know how to explain it because like it's like a one-on-one type. I get the feel whenever I was interviewing someone, it was like you have that person right in front of you and you kind of know how to talk to that person. And
Right.
I'm pretty sure you understand that, you can't talk to the same way to everybody.
Right.
So, but
Right.
for me, it's that, it's just the willingness to learn something.
So if they could show you that in the interview that they're willing to learn, you would most likely hire them.
Possibly, yeah, yeah.
Now, what if they came to the interview late, but at the interview, once they got there, even though they were late, they kind of showed you they would be willing to learn. Would you hire that person? And if you would, why? If you wouldn't, why not?
Okay, so it depends on what reason they're giving me, why they're late.
Okay.
And I guess that would determine, you know, like if they give me a good reason, then yeah, you know, or it might be a lie, but you know, like that would be on them, not on me.
Right.
So yeah.
Well, what would be a good reason? What's a good reason for you? If I came to your interview late but I interviewed good, we connected. What reason could I give you that you overlooked that lateness?
I guess it would be more like family oriented, a car accident. I know I got stuck in traffic a lot.
Right.
You know, I guess, you know, like something like that. You know, if you were in a car accident, or if you were at a doctor's appointment and then you were late, something like that. Not
something
just
like
because
that, you would give them a pass.
Say what?
You would give them a pass if they gave you something like that, but interviewed well. You would give them a pass. Okay.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, because like, okay, so here's my thing. When I used to hire, I wasn't so strict on hiring. I was more, okay, let me bring them in, and if a person doesn't want to work, they're gonna leave.
Right.
I mean, to be honest,
right.
they're gonna leave. So you take that chance on hiring that person, and you know, giving them that chance. And like in my case, I'm gonna help you. If you need a job, I'm gonna help you, and I'm gonna give you the chance. Now it's up to you to show me, you know, that you want that job. And if not, to be honest, I really never had to fire someone. The people that didn't want to work always left before I got a chance to hire them.
So they quit before you got a chance to fire them. Yeah. If somebody was interested, because you said your background's in management, if somebody was interested in being in a management position, what would you tell them that they would need to be successful as a manager?
Know how to communicate. If you know how to communicate with the people that are working with you, because they're not your workers, or I mean, that's the way I look at it. Okay.
Right.
They're not my workers, or they're not your workers. They're co-workers. We work together. And if I know how, you know, if that person knows how to communicate, then I believe that, you know, you can make it work. And even if it's someone that doesn't know how to do the job, or they're really slow at learning, if you know how to teach them right, if you know how to communicate the process right, then you can get them to work. You know, you're going to have someone that's going to work really good, and someone that's going to work like totally opposite of them. But those two can work together. Like someone might be good at stalking, you know, like it's just, it depends. Or I don't know. I guess it just depends on the job at hand. But I think communication.
Communication is the big piece
For me.
So
Yes.
the position, the one you were talking about in July, was communication the issue why it wasn't so great? Because your management wasn't communicating well? Is that what made them a bad or not so great?
That, and also some people let a higher position go to their heads.
Right.
And I think that was the problem there. Okay. You know, that person thought that because he was the manager, that he could down talk people.
Right.
And I don't believe that.
Self-care, you know, you always say you need to take care of your mental health for yourself, because then you can't help other people. So I totally agree with that. And what do you do? Because I know when you did your video earlier, you were outside. So is that what you do? Maybe you go out and walk and maybe meditate outside. What were some suggestions would you give people for self-care or to take care of themselves?
If you need If you are finding yourself in a position where you're overwhelmed, and I know people say don't use that word, it's real.
Right.
Sometimes you are overwhelmed and there's
Right.
no, like, it's the truth.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you do too much or you have too much going on. Take some time for yourself, even if it's just like a 10-minute break. Go outside and get away from everybody, or go into a different room, or go in the car and take a drive. um, just take some time for yourself so you can recover mentally. The way I look at it, if I'm not in the right mindset, I can't help no one.
Right.
I can't be there for my family, I can't be there for my friends, I can't be there for anyone if I'm not in the right mindset. So I would say that um I go to the gym
Mm-hmm.
because that's my me time in the mornings. I take time off like I did earlier. I like it that way because I like to stay busy. But
Mm-hmm.
sometimes whenever, like, I listen to my body, and if I'm finding myself that I'm just like doing too much, and then I take a break. There's
Right.
nothing wrong with that.
No, I agree with you. When a lot of people, I think, don't realize when their body's telling them they need to take, a mental health break, a moment. It's not always a day. It could be just a moment. It could be, like you said, 10 minutes or 15 minutes to kind of get yourself back together so that you can
Hmm.
be helpful to other people or
Yeah,
serve other people.
yeah,
Yeah, I agree with that.
yeah.
What advice would you give somebody right now who wanted to start their own business?
Ooh,
You started two and you
yes.
sold two. What advice would you give right now?
I would tell them, if you really want to get involved in starting a business and becoming an entrepreneur, it's not an easy thing, but it's doable. So if you really like to work, and you like the outcome, if you like the feeling of fulfillment, knowing that you did something, go for it. Start. If you don't have enough money, start with what you have. I started my first business with $2,500,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't have a lot. I really didn't, because it was a brick and mortar as well. I didn't have a lot, but I made it work because I knew how to invest the money that
Mm-hmm.
I made. So just start. Don't think about it. Like, sometimes we overthink and we just stop there and we don't go forward. So if
Right.
you really, really want to do it, just go for it.
So I want you to say again for the people who just now got on or who missed the part. You said you do videos when you start to feel like you need to, like so you won't be scared to get past your fear. You do hard things. So tell everybody that one more time when you do videos.
We're not make Okay, so for those people that just got here, I'm afraid of being on camera. So this right here is a challenge for me. I can talk to anyone face to face, but being on camera it just takes my energy away. So whenever I'm doing my videos, I do them at the moment that I feel like my energy is up high and I feel the rush. I do them then, because if not, I won't do it. And that's just the way I do anything. I take action at that moment. I don't wait around and just to see, okay, maybe I'm gonna be um in that mood again. No, I just go for it.
That's right. I think we were talking earlier last week, and I said that I don't like doing videos because I don't like to look stupid, especially like on live where you can't correct that. So it's a fear for me every time I have to hype myself up,
Mhm.
to get on front of the camera. My team will know because I'm constantly trying to hype myself up and have them hype me up too because I don't care for it either. But here we are
Here
doing
we
our
are.
Instagram live videos. So one last question for you. So in today's market, because you're working on starting to open up another business, right?
Hmm.
What do you look for in the resume? What's the most important thing that you're looking for on somebody's resume?
Mm. You want me to be honest?
Be honest.
Every time I hired, I really didn't pay attention to the resume
Okay, why?
because I wanted to pay attention to the person to see how to read their body language, to see how they reacted to whenever you asked a question. I mean, I did read through it, you know, but I really didn't focus on it because I wanted to get the feel from the person versus going through what they have on paper, because you can on paper you can put whatever you want and you
That's
can
right.
make it look good. But whenever I ask you those questions face to face, are you going to be able to tell me, you know, like what's on that paper?
Right.
So I mean, that's just the way I look at things. So it's a little bit different than a lot of people, but I know I can write up, you know, this long resume.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so to me, it's the person, it's the feel for the person.
So how do you decide who you're going to call in? If you had 10 resumes, how do you determine out the 10 which ones you're going to call to meet to interview? Or you call
Um,
all 10?
you can, yeah, you can call a 10 and then just go from there, because sometimes, and this is I learned this from experience. Sometimes the person that you least expect to learn that job is the one that ends up learning it best and doing it best.
I will agree with you on that. I will agree with you on that.